What's up, Australia? I am Randy.
And I'm Mark.
We are from Lamb of God, and tonight we are going to be taking over Rage and playing a bunch of our favorite videos for you.
So enjoy our bad taste in music.
Since we are in Australia, I figured I'd pick one of my favorite artists of all time, who also happened to be an Aussie dude. He's smart, he's weird, and his first band, known as the Boys Next Door, before they moved to London and became the Birthday Party. They were legendary for their decadence, their drug abuse, and their violent shows, kicking people in the face, riots. They lived in London for a bit after they left Australia, then moved to Berlin, lived in squats, became horrible heroin junkies. But during that time, they wrote some great music. And this is one of my favorite songs by the Birthday Party, actually, Release the Bats. It's really manic, whoa, And Nick Cave is kind of a freak, smart guy. Big influence on me lyrically, stylistically. So here's the Birthday Party with Release the Bats.
Led Zeppelin is, to me, probably the prototype for, the modern hard rock heavy metal band, and Jimmy Page is one of my favorite guitar players just because of his vision and his his expansive creative brain. Nothing was off limits to him musically, and that's something that I respect a lot. And Communication Breakdown is like just a real straightforward kind of grind and riff, and again, I think it's one of those moments that sort of set the mold for a lot of heavy bands that would come in generations actually to follow, including ours, I think, to a certain degree. Although it's probably tough to draw a line between Lamb of God and Led Zeppelin. To me, it's not that hard to do because Jimmy's my favorite guitar player. So here's Communication Breakdown.
The Sex Pistols were the band that first turned me on to what I would consider real music. And, I guess I was around 12, and a friend of mine gave me a cassette tape. All I'd been listening to at that point in time was some of my father's records and whatever was on the radio. And I heard the Sex Pistols record, Never Mind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols. And it pretty much changed my life. It's the reason why I'm here today. So much respect to Mr. Lydon and the crew. Here's Pretty Vacant off Never Mind the Bollocks.
Jay-Z, probably my favorite MC, a lot of people's favorite MC. I love hip-hop music. I've listened to rap music my whole life, and Jay-Z is one of my favorite MCs. And this song, 99 Problems, I think Rick Rubin produced this track, didn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think he did. So that's kind of a cool tie between heavy metal and hip-hop there. Rick Rubin, a very successful producer in both genres, and it's a cool video too. So check it out, 99 Problems. And a bitch ain't one.
Of all places in the world, you never thought that the best current metal band would come from France. I mean, France is known for cheese and attitude and that kind of crap, not heavy metal. But it is true. The best heavy metal band on the planet right now, in my opinion, is our friends, Mark and I's friends, in Gojira from Bayonne, France. And this next track is off not their most recent record, but the one before it, From Mars to Sirius, which our drummer turned us on to. And it really reignited my faith in heavy music, I guess, I thought it was getting kind of stale, and these guys are doing something fresh. So here's to Joe Duplantier and the boys. It's Too Serious from Gojira.
All right, so next up is Soundgarden, and I guess maybe I'm showing my age a little bit here, picking up some stuff from the 90s, but...
this is late Soundgarden.
Yeah, a little bit later Soundgarden. Again, it's one of my favorite bands from a while back, and Kim Thayil is their guitar player, was their guitar player, and I think he's really underrated. He didn't get a lot of recognition as being like a famous, guitar virtuoso guy, and but he was really sort of obscure in the way he approached the instrument and the way he looked at layering and the way he used the guitar to make sounds that weren't necessarily licks or riffs. They were more like layering of sounds, and I thought he was really, really intelligent the way he did that, and I've definitely stolen a thing or two from him, I think, or at least tried to. And so Jesus Christ Pose is an awesome example of a song where you can have a 4-minute or so song that really only does a couple things, but if you change the dynamic of how you do that one or two, you know, those one or two things, you can actually have a really interesting song develop out of it. And that's what Jesus Christ Pose does to my ears. And Chris Cornell can sing better than any rock singer.
Better than me.
Yeah, better than him.
Yeah, definitely. The Bad Brains are obviously one of the most influential bands in the history of heavy music, hardcore and punk rock. They're very underappreciated, I think. They're so influential, but they don't get enough respect. This is a title track off their record, Eye Against Eye, and it's when they moved away from straight speed and hardcore more towards like a blending of metal and hardcore. And I don't know, at one point in time they were the mightiest band on the planet. So here's the Bad Brains with Eye Against Eye.
Next up is Nirvana with Heart-Shaped Box. And Kurt Cobain's just one of my favorite songwriters. You know, he really changed the whole, you know, pop sensibility at the time when Nirvana really broke big. I mean, they had already been breaking ground before that with great music, but when the world really keyed into what they were doing on a commercial level, he just wiped the slate clean, which really needed to happen. And I was fortunate enough to see Nirvana live in my hometown of Williamsburg, Virginia, years and years ago. And I love Nirvana. Hope you do too.
We are from the V. And
Virginia, that is.
From Virginia, and
we're in Australia. They don't know VA.
They don't know what the VA is, but Clips is a hip hop group from Virginia Beach, near where Mark and I actually grew up in the Tidewater region, and we played a festival with them in Norway a couple of years ago. Actually got to meet them and hang out a little bit after the show.
And we took a very valuable picture of ourselves with Malice, one of the rappers in Clips.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's a good time, you know. Clips is good party music. That's how we do it down the dirty. So here's the Clips with Grinding. You heard?
All right, next up is some Hendrix. And me being one of the guitar players of the group, I love Jimi Hendrix, as I think most guitar players should, if they don't already. What can you say about him that hadn't been said? I mean, he was one of the most innovative musicians to come along in centuries, you know. I mean, he expanded people's ideas of what you could do with the instrument and what you could do with rock music. And he also had a very, very heavy thread of blues in how he played, and that's something that's very dear to me as well. So here's a prime example of that, Jimi Hendrix with Red House. Okay, so next I've picked probably what I was supposed to have been picking all along, which is heavy metal. You know, I get so much heavy metal in my life just by being in Lamb of God, being in a touring heavy metal band, that I don't wind up listening to a whole lot of it recreationally anymore. But I must pay my respects to Dave Mustaine and Megadeth, who are really the reason that I became interested in heavy metal in the first place. I was definitely more of a kind of a punk rock kid, and Megadeth to me bridged the gap between having the energy and danger of a punk rock band, especially early Megadeth, I should specify, but having that danger and that energy, and also pairing it with great musicianship and real technical guitar playing. And as someone that was learning to play guitar at the time I was exposed to it, that was kind of important and intriguing to me. So I really, Megadeth was really what, you know, the sound, and that Peace Sells record particularly is what kind of transported me from noisy punk rock into more technical, you know, defined heavy metal. And Wake Up Dead has that sound.
We are now going to play one of our videos for you. It's off our latest release, Wrath, and it's called Set to Fail. We recorded it in a studio in Richmond, Virginia, where we actually have done quite a bit of recording for our records. And basically, we just got the crap beaten out of us by a bunch of kids for about 8 hours.
Yeah, the room that you're seeing in the video is actually the room where I tracked my guitars for the Sacrament record. So we returned to some common ground and brought a bunch of fans with us and raised a little hell.
Indeed. So I hope you enjoy it. Set to Fail.